I see plenty of stuff on YouTube about how to build AI agents and how to do things with voice AI, but I never see anyone talk about how to actually position it to a real business. I've spent the last 10 years in software and sales, and I want to show you exactly how I position my voice AI services to businesses. Let's get into it. Across industries, small businesses miss between 22% and 62% of all inbound calls. This means for all the marketing that you're putting out there or the leads that you're generating, you're only getting to about half of them. And business owners that I speak to have either been unaware or totally ignorant of the problem, or they don't know how to fix it. So it's obvious that there is a problem with how businesses are servicing their leads and new customers. And if we even think to our own interactions with small businesses, how do we find the response to a lot of businesses? For me personally, I recently had to call a roofer and I got through 3 different businesses before the 4th one picked up, and I ended up spending $400 with that roofer. But it made me wonder what would have happened if the first roofer picked up or the second one. And it's likely that because this has happened once, it probably happens to them quite frequently. Since starting my agency, I've spoken to a few different businesses, and in particular, a roofing supply company owner that I spoke to a couple of weeks ago. He self-confessed that he tends to miss around 3 to 4 calls per day. Now, his average transaction value is about $2,000 because he sells the raw materials like color bond and other roofing equipment like gutters and that kind of thing. He estimates that around 1 or 2 are customers that are inquiring on products. Out of 4 calls that he misses per day, 1 or 2 of them may be a legitimate customer. Another one might be a spam call or a salesperson or something unrelated. So by a conservative estimate, he recovers around 50% of his missed calls. So from the 2 that he gets that are actual customers, and from that, the 4 that he gets in terms of calls per day. So we're down from 4 calls per day, 2 that he misses that are customers. He thinks that he gets 1 of them back. So that means he's missing on average 1 customer a day. At an average order value of around $2,000, we're looking at around a $7,000 average revenue loss per week. And that's simply down to the fact that he's not able to answer the phone. He admits himself, he runs a few different businesses and the roofing supply company keeps him very busy, and all of the numbers and the inquiries and everything gets routed straight to his mobile. So it's all on him. And there's countless businesses like this that would be leaving money on the table as a result of not being able to answer the phone. And it's not because business owners are not busy and that they're just lazy and they don't want to help their customers. It's because they're actually quite good at what they do, but unfortunately they don't have the bandwidth to be able to answer every single call. And by the way, these numbers don't also account for calls that come in after hours. This is just during business hours that we ran these numbers. So if he's getting inquiries from people at 6 p.m. or 6 a.m. or whenever it's convenient for his customers to reach out, they're also not getting serviced. Another example of an industry that would really benefit from being able to answer the phone more often is a mortgage broker. They are highly competitive industries where you can go to a bank or you can go to one of tens of thousands of brokers that operate around the country. So speed and communication is key. The average commission for a broker up front for servicing a loan is between $3,500 to $5,000. And they also get a trail commission of up to $1,500 per year on average. And that's just based on the rough current property prices in Australia. So if you stick with a mortgage broker, and a lot of customers don't pay their brokers, they get their money from the bank. But if you stick with your broker for that amount of time, you as a customer could be worth $11,000 to them over the course of a 2 to 3 year period, assuming you stay with your loan with them to get those trail commissions. But with mortgage broking, people are looking at property when it's convenient for them, and that's after work. So a lot of calls will be coming in after hours. And I know in my history with real estate, and I was dealing with brokers, a lot of the brokers would actually come out and see me at 6 or 7 o'clock at night. So not only are they doing after hours appointments, they're also then not able to answer the phone after hours because they're at the appointments or because they're busy doing other things. So with most calls coming in after hours, if they miss just 1 customer a month, that could result in a $120,000 revenue loss over the course of a year, because 1 customer a month is 12 customers a year. And we're working on around $11,000 in terms of the value of the customer. You don't just have to take it from me. If you haven't heard of this guy before, he's called Alex Hormozy, and he is responsible for the growth of hundreds of businesses around the world. He specialized in growing a gym franchise, but he now has a company that he buys and acquires other businesses or works with those business owners in order to grow that business. So he gets such a big and wide exposure of lots of different types of businesses. And this is what he said about the services businesses.
You could 4x your business Tomorrow, if you can contact a lead within 60 seconds of them showing interest or opting in or giving you their contact information, you have a 391% increase in the likelihood that you can close the prospect. If you do greater than 5 minutes, the likelihood that you close them drops by 80%, which means 4 out of 5 times you would have closed now goes to 20% close rate. If
So he talks there about how businesses could almost 4x by increasing their conversion rates by up to 391% just by getting back to customers quicker. So if you're calling leads within 60 seconds, you have the ability to be able to increase the level of success that you see and do more with less. The more leads that you have coming in, the more effective you'll be in terms of selling. And even without extra marketing spend, you can actually bring in more revenue. Now, it's an important distinction. He's talking about calling back leads, and we do have solutions for that at my agency where you can actually call or have AI call a customer back within the first 30 or 60 seconds of them filling out a form on your website. But what if customers didn't have to get a call back to begin with? What if you just answered the phone the first time? Imagine your conversion rate and the benefits that you'd see if you're able to recover some of that revenue from the missed calls. Companies I've spoken to say they'll just call them back, and it's a bit of a myth because if you call back within 5 minutes, they are 21 times more likely to convert. But in my experience, it's pretty rare that businesses actually call back. And in the roofing example I used earlier, I still haven't had a call back from those roofers, and that was almost a month ago. After 30 minutes, 79% of customers have already tried 2 other companies. And these are just some of the statistics from a Harvard Business Review analysis and study that they did. The worst thing about this is that I hear in the market so often that businesses need more leads. Businesses are trying to spend more money or do more ads or be better at Instagram and social media, but they don't realize that if they just focus on actually servicing the customers that are coming into their business, they'd be able to stop what's called the leaky bucket. So this theory is that people are so focused on getting new customers, and with that focus on getting new customers, you're constantly filling the top of the bucket with more marketing spend, more social media posts, trying to get more customers, and there's lots more customers coming in the top. But the actual ROI is found by stopping the leak itself. If you can just prevent customers from having bad experiences or from not getting in contact with your business in a timely manner, if you could just answer the phone, you have the ability to be able to reduce the amount of revenue you lose to missed calls, and that will by turn increase your revenue without you having to spend more money on marketing or spend more time in front of the camera creating more content. Most companies are spending between $2,000 and $5,000 a month on ads. So based on the numbers we spoke about at the top of the video, if you generated 67 leads in a month, at best, you might answer 53 customers back. At the lower end, so being super conservative, the missed call rate was between 22% and 62% that we saw at the start of the video. So if we just assume you're at the lower end and you only miss 22% of your calls, that means you're still missing 14 customers a month. If you times that by the amount you charge customers on average, times that by 12, that's the amount of revenue that you're leaving on the table every month just by not being able to answer the phone 24/7. The worst part is that that doesn't even account for total customer lifetime value. Taking the mortgage broker example that I spoke about earlier, me as a customer, I would be worth $11,000 on average to a mortgage broker. But in my real life scenario, I actually introduced my mortgage broker to 6 or 7 different family members and friends who have gone on to use him as their broker. So had he have not been able to answer my call, not only would he have missed out on my revenue, which has been worth $11,000 to that broker, he would have missed out on the 6 or 7 other introductions that I would have made, and they would have gone to another broker who did answer my phone call. So you can see how it starts to trickle on and how there is an ongoing effect when you also start considering the total customer lifetime value. If you're a real estate agent or a plumber or a roofer, you get to become the go-to person for that customer if you answer the phone and if you provide a good service. You can never get in there and make the introduction and build the relationship and provide a good service if you're not answering the phone on time. So that brings me on to why I built NextLayer AI. NextLayer AI is a AI voice agency, and we specialize in building AI voice receptionists and customer service agents for businesses. So these typically take 2 forms. It's a receptionist that can answer frequently asked questions, book appointments into your calendar, send text messages with directions to your shop, or it can do things like customer service. So checking up on order statuses and providing product support and integrating into your Shopify e-commerce platform or integrating into your job management software. I even built one for a smash repairer, and it actually looks inside their job management system and tells the customer what parts they're waiting on based on the notes in the job and when the car will be ready based on the estimated completion date. All of this is possible, and you can service your customers without you having to actually lift a finger and without you having to stop doing the work that you get paid to do. If you're a plumber, that means customers can call you, get answers to questions on your services, and you can have estimates and jobs booked straight into your calendar. If you're a real estate agent or a property manager, the AI agent can answer the phone 24/7, route your tenant to emergency plumbers or repairers if it's after hours and it's an emergency call, or take note of non-urgent inquiries and maintenance requests and log them into your CRM. It's not about replacing people, it's about giving people the tools to be more effective. Using the real estate example, a real estate salesperson's best attribute is the ability for them to go out and meet people and to build relationships. But they're not going to be able to do that if they're constantly answering the phone, answering the same inquiry over and over again about what time is the open home, how many square meters is the block. It's not the best use of your time, so you should be delegating your time to areas that you can be more effective and make more money. I won't bore you with the technicality, but basically AI voice agents have two parts. There's an LLM, you'd be familiar with ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude, and then there's an orchestration layer. And this is where we build in your AI agent's personality, its voice, its accent, the tools that it can call on, and the integrations that it needs into your systems to be able to do the job effectively. Why these work so well, and I think I saw some statistics that 60% of businesses globally are already using some form of voice AI. It's here to stay, it's not going anywhere, and you and your business have the ability to reap the rewards of that quicker than most of your competitors. In Australia, it's still relatively untapped, but businesses are moving fast and seeking to learn more about it and implement it into their business. Why it works: it answers the phone 24/7, it books appointments, it sends calendar invites, it sends SMSs to customers with directions or shop locations, it can update your CRM and your job systems, and it can even ask questions from your customers to collect information and qualify them before you meet with them. Now, like with any new technology, there's always objections. The first one, that people won't like AI and they want a human touch. That's all very well and good, and that might be relevant for a very, very small subset of businesses at the top end of the market or that are very high service. But we're not talking about AI running your entire business. We're just talking about implementing it to service your customers at the first inquiry, where that speed to lead is going to be so critical in servicing them and getting that next step booked in. If the customer feels like they have something booked in with you, or they have you coming out to give an estimate, they're less likely to call a competitor because they have you coming along to see their job or to visit them at their home. And the funny part about the human touch is that the same people that tell me that they don't want AI to take away the human touch are the same people that have forms on their websites for customers to fill in, where the business says, we'll get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. That's not really an effective human touch. You're better off having a voice AI agent in place that can answer those initial questions, book the job in, and you don't have to worry about playing phone tag and calling people back. The other ironic thing is you may well want to keep the human touch, but if they call while you're busy and you can't answer, if you're with your family, or if they call you after hours to ask silly questions, who answers then? There's no human touch. It's just a missed call that you have to get back to, adding to your workload for the next day, adding to the frustration of the customer, and increasing the likelihood that you've lost the job anyway. The next one, people won't like talking to AI. Ultimately, you're calling a business because you want something. You want an appointment, you want information, you want directions, guidance, or answers to questions about product. AI can do all of that, and there is going to be an adoption period, but as AI gets better and better, more and more businesses are going to be able to take this up and to be able to use this and benefit from this to enable them to focus in areas that they need to focus on, such as in-person meetings and doing things in the real world. Why not have an AI agent that can provide this initial service to your customers without you having to be taken away from what you do best? There are probably some concerns about AI being too expensive to build and set up, but the unfortunate thing is that if you're watching this and you've gotten this far, it's likely that your business is already paying for it with missed revenue. Having nothing in place that keeps revenue leak ongoing means that you're having customers contact you for your business, you're missing leads, they're going to your competitors, and that's ultimately costing you money. So the question I'd be asking is, yes, AI might be costing you money up front, but what money is it saving you in return on the back end? If we can recover 1 or 2 or 3 jobs a week, that's more than going to cover the cost of the AI in the first month alone. The problem we're solving with this is not just having some fancy cool technology in place. We're giving you back missed revenue and preventing the number of missed calls that you have so that your customers get a better service and you get more appointments and more jobs booked into your calendar. If you're interested in learning more about how this might work for your business, or you're just curious about how the technology sounds and you want to give it a try, send me a DM or a message and we'll get in touch. We'll book a call. I can take you through it. And obviously, there's no obligation, but I find a lot of people are interested in learning more. And if you have a business, the earlier you can start to adopt this technology, it's going to serve you much better in the long run.